So, today's Wednesday, day 4 for Inktober, and today's word is underwater. And I kind of found myself struggling a little bit with how I'm going to represent that in the illustration. And I always feel the more I think about the scenario that I want to illustrate, the more complicated it becomes. However, sometimes the word is a little bit more obvious and you can just go with it with your first initial thoughts. But with this one, I really did have to think, because obviously I'll have to paint something, I guess, submerged in water, and for that reason I have to pick the right ink, because if I decide to put the water on top of that ink, it will obviously make it move, and if I decide to paint on top, then that's a different matter. But I do have to have a certain kind of idea of how I want to approach that concept. So I had a few ideas, and I think I'm just going to go with something, and also the body shapes, because I'm not very great at drawing and I'm trying to improve my drawing skills. I can't there was a figure or a shape, a body shape, that I first thought to draw, but I will definitely struggle with that shape, and so I didn't want it to end up looking crooked or just weird. So I decided I'm going to do a shape that I'm comfortable with, but that will have to change the scenario a little bit, the scene of the happening. So let's go ahead and see. Anyway, I chose my platinum carbon ink because it seems that on this paper, which is the Moleskine I have mentioned to you in my previous videos, that it really hardly moves at all. So with water, and that would be great. So I think I'm going to set out a scene and the illustration, and then go with the watercolor on top, and demonstrate to you again that this ink is the most waterproof that well, compared to the other inks that I have. And if you want to hear more about them, then you can see my previous day 1, 2 and 3, which are all done in different inks, and you'll see the difference between how the inks are reacting towards water. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the illustration. Okay, so I kept it fairly simple in this illustration, and I only used 2 colors really. I just used Prussian blue from the Schminke Academy watercolor range, and created a very light wash, and then in certain areas I added a bit more color just to give it a bit more of a kind of depth. And I only didn't put the watercolor, the blue watercolor wash over her face just because I wanted her face to stand out. But you could see me very clearly add quite a bit of water onto this bodies part, and it only gave the very lightest kind of grey ink wash. It really didn't distort the lines, or it didn't make it too dark. So you could see on the single lines where there isn't much going on, even on the bracelets, it didn't move that much at all. So it's fantastic. And like I said, do really do try your ink out. It's the best way to do it is to buy a bottle if you think it's worth it, and then try it out on different papers. You might be amazed that on some papers it moves a lot, on other papers it stays put. So I kept it quite simple, and the idea behind it is she's meant to be sort of this high fashion kind of girl, and she somehow falls into the water, or the water is meant to represent her kind of feeling lost, and perhaps you know, lost with her thoughts, or maybe she's uncertain of what's happening. And thing that came into my mind, and that is the body shape that I was telling you about, that I'm comfortable drawing. Looking at it this way. First of all, I thought to draw it kind of diving down, and then I had to obviously think about the face, how I'm going to show the face, and it would have not been great. So I decided to stay with the body shape that I'm comfortable. I added some legs, which I usually don't, and I added just 2 lines to imitate a very kind of long thin fabric, maybe like a tulle or something like that, that's very kind of airy, and it's sort of barely there, and the water is just floating with her. And yeah, that's it really. So I kept it quite simple. I do like how it came out, and thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow for the next challenge.